Whoopsie. Okay, I guess I won't need to do a mic check then. Just waiting for speech chat to come up. And there it is. Give me a second. We will get going here. And there it is. All right. We are up and running. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay. We are back with a live stream today. We got the F125 reveal, and it happened while I was at work, so I wasn't really able to watch the trailer. But I was listening to some live reactions to it, and you know, those creators were giving their thoughts on the reveal. And during my lunch break, I did take a quick look at it, and I saw something that caught my eye. So I said, okay, let me be certain before I go off and say anything. And I'm still not certain now, but I feel better about it after looking at it a couple of times. And so I got home, checked it out a couple of times, and yes, I did see one or two things that I think could be an indicator that F125 could possibly get PSVR 2 support this year. So what we're going to do is we are going to check out this trailer. We're going to let it play through once, and then I'm going to come back and give my thoughts, or I'll rewind it, or however you want to say it, and I'll show you the particular clip that I think could be an indicator that it could get PSVR 2 support. So let's change scenery. And I might have to turn the volume down so I don't get a copyright. I mean, if they hit me with a copyright claim, I really don't care about that, because every time I stream Le Mans Ultimate, I get hit with a copyright claim because the music for the main menu is copyright. So, and you know, honestly speaking, this is my channel, super small, and I don't get enough views to be worried about what money I might be losing, because you know, I might make anywhere from 15 to 50 cents per stream. So no, I'm not losing out on anything. So before, I guess I could start this one part off. You know, I've said this several times before over the past couple of years. When PSVR 2 was leading up to the launch, one time I was watching an ACC stream from one of the developers, Aristolis. He's no longer there, but at the time he used to do community races, his way of giving back to the community. And at that time, they had just did a major update for ACC on PS5 and Xbox Series console with the 60 frames 4K update, and they expanded how many cars were on track. Whereas on the PS4 in the Xbox One version, I think they had 20 cars, but with this update on the next gen consoles, as they were at the time, they expanded it to 30 cars. So on console, on Series X and PS5, you had 4K 60, 30 cars. And so that made me wonder, hey, maybe the PS5 is strong enough to run this game in VR. So I super chatted Aristoteles during his community stream, and I asked him, I said, will ACC get PSVR 2 support? And his exact answer was, word for word, he said, too many resources. The console's not strong enough. And I believed him, because the first time I ever played ACC in VR, it did not look good, because the game is CPU heavy. It is very demanding, and you need a pretty beefy PC to make this game look good in VR. So it did not look good. And I think at the time, excuse me, I think the first time I ever played ACC in VR, I know that I was using my Alienware computer. What I can't remember is whether it had the 2070 that it came with, or did it have the 3070 that I had upgraded to. But in any case, it did not look good. I had to turn everything down to get it to run good. Whereas, however, Automobilist 2 looked and ran good. So, because of that, I was led to believe that the PS5 probably isn't strong enough to run demanding sim racing games. So that's what I thought for like a couple of years. So 2022, 2023, when the F1 games did not get PSVR 2 support, the first thing that hit my head was that the console's probably not strong enough to run those games either. But something changed after the F124 release. I've talked about it before. We'll talk about it again after I show you guys this trailer. So let's, without further ado.
My driving style, it's always been aggressive. I think it's gone from being all out, all risk. Now it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Season. Welcome to the all-new F125.
Now there was a time.
It's a great start for Hamilton.
Awesome.
What a race this has been for Mayer.
Still we rise, guys.
The rookie showing the champ what he's made of here.
It is quick.
That was fun.
She's going for it. Oh no! Her race is over.
Remember, we don't beat Red Bull by copying them.
Focus on the bigger picture.
Into the pits they come. And they come out with a pit entry.
Yes, guys.
This is a game changer.
This is amazing.
I'm on it.
Jackson's making a move on Piastri. Hamilton goes the other way. This is going to be so close. Side by side to the line. He's done it.
Let's go.
And Hamilton wins.
If you think you know how your story ends,
Think again.
Oh, and who's this?
Pre-order F125 now.
Okay, so that's the trailer right there. And there were 3 Easter eggs, in my opinion. And so let's go over the first one. And that would be the VR part of it. So let me skip ahead.
now it's a marathon, not a sprint.
A new year, a new era, a new season.
6.
Welcome to the all-new F125.
Now there was a time.
It's a
Right here. That looks like VR right there. And then in this clip, you'll see the driver of the car take a quick look to the right and then back straight ahead. And it wasn't one of those quick snap turns where, you know, like quick turn to the right, quick flick to the left. It was a quick turn, but it looked like a natural human head turn.
Great start for Hamilton.
So yeah, let's go back.
It's a great start
Right there.
for Hamilton. It's a great start for Hamilton.
One more time, one last time.
Welcome to the all-new F125.
Now there was a time.
It's a great start for Hamilton.
Awesome.
What a race this is.
Okay, so if any of you been paying attention, you know that the F1 games going all the way back to 2022 have gotten VR support on PC. So if you would say, hey, you know, how do we know that this isn't PC? You know, what makes you so sure that it's PSVR 2? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I mean, first of all, I'm not 100% sure that this is PSVR 2, but what I will say is that F1 2022, 2023, 2024, they have all gotten VR support on PC, and they did not include them in the trailers at all. All they did was just mention it in the footnotes. You know, when you go to the official site and get the list of details, you know, the VR would be mentioned there for PC. And this is the first time I've ever seen them make a trailer and include that little snippet of VR in there. There was actually a couple of more clips. There was like split second that looked like it could have been VR, but that clip right there was the most obvious. So what other reasons do I think why it could be PSVR 2, aside from them finally putting this, that, you know, they add a feature, well, they show us a clip of a feature in a trailer that's been in the game for the last 3 years. Why are they putting it in the trailer now? Well, I can think of a bunch of reasons why this would be the year that it does get VR support, but I can give you one reason why it would not get VR support. Why do I think it would get PSVR 2 support? One is this year's F125 is iconic. All eyes and the big buzz with Formula One is Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. You know, in basketball terms, to me, the basketball equivalent of that would be Michael Jordan going to the Los Angeles Lakers, and teaming up with Magic Johnson. If something like that would have happened, God, you know, and they would have got like a Dennis Rodman type and a couple of other pieces, the Lakers would have been unstoppable for God knows how many years. So, I mean, that's probably the way, you know, I'm not going to say that people probably viewed Ferrari as unstoppable, but that's the magnitude of Hamilton going over to Ferrari. You know, Max Verstappen is actually off to a pretty good start this year, even though he hasn't won a race yet. But yet all eyes are on Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton. So this could be the year that they sell more copies than usual. So that's another reason that it could get PSVR 2 support. I think another reason is this is the last year of contractual obligations as far as the licensing goes for this game. After 2025, I hear that there's a 2-year option, and I'm led to believe that EA probably holds the option to those 2 years. I mean, because if F1 held the option, naturally they would probably exercise it so they can make EA pay them for those last 2 years, pay for the license. So I would be led to believe that EA probably holds the option. And I think we know they want to bring the game to VR. So I think the last part of why I think it could get VR support is because EA wants to bring it to PSVR 2. And F1 2024, when it did not get VR support or PSVR 2 support, I'm like, okay, this is the third iteration of the game where we did not get VR support for PS5. I understood the first 2 years because I was led to believe that the console wasn't powerful enough. But for 2024, EA said that they wanted to give the game PSVR 2 support, but that's all up to Sony. And they said they wanted to have a meeting with Sony to talk about bringing PSVR 2 support to the F1 game, which I think would be huge, because if it did get PSVR 2 support, I think as far as colors goes, it probably would have the best colors, with PSVR 2 having the OLED panels and that HDR. The PSVR 2 version, as much as I would be reluctant to admit it, would probably have the best colors, probably have the best lighting and the best shadows. I would imagine the drawback would probably be reprojection. And that's another reason why that little clip that we were looking at, that I think it might be VR.
Now there was a time.
It's a great start.
Let me see if I can back this up again. Right there, that sign right there, straight ahead. That sign is not crystal clear. I'm seeing some white smudges around the outside of the letters, and that is, in my opinion, that is something that you notice, like up here at the top, this loose vision up here where I'm scrolling. These letters are not clear. This is the kind of that white smudge around the outside of the letters. This is the kind of stuff you see on PSVR 2 because of the reprojection, because it's inserting fake frames, and with the reprojection of PSVR 2, it can make things look blurry. So I think what we're looking at here is the possible result of reprojection. I mean, because if this was a clip of PC VR, you have the option of turning off whatever kind of reprojection method that they would be using in the case of like Meta or Oculus. It's called a synchronous space warp. You can turn that off and get raw, sharp, native frame rates. This does not look like something that is native of a native frame rate. Like I said, the white smudge around the letters looks like the type of stuff you would see with reprojection. If using Gran Turismo 7 as an example, if you were to stop at a sign on Gran Turismo, the letters would be clear. But if you start to turn your head, the letters will become blurry, and you would see something similar to what we're looking at here, the smudge around the letters. That is another thing that makes me think that it is possible that this is PSVR 2.
A great start for Hamilton. What a race.
So before I move on to the next Easter egg, I gave you the reasons why I think this could be PSVR 2 footage. The one reason why I think that it would not get PSVR 2 support is Sony. It had been said by a couple of people on PSVR 1 that Sony told publishers not to give their racing game PSVR support. There was only 2 real racing games on the original PSVR 1 that got support, and that would be Gran Turismo Sport and Dirt Rally. And Dirt Rally, it's a rally game. So I don't know if you can consider a rally game a race game, but those were the only two games that had PSVR support on the original PSVR. Now, fast forward to PSVR 2, GT7 is the only real racing game with PSVR 2 support. Now, yeah, you got a couple of rinky-dink indie games, you know, like like the recently released Exocart, and I think, you know, Galaxy Kart or something like that, which I can't really remember that game. It might be like a knockoff Mario Kart 8, one of those types of games. But point being is that I believe with GT7 that it's possible that Sony may be keeping other racing games off of PSVR 2 because of the microtransactions of GT7. The more racing games, the more real racing games that get PSVR 2 support, that's more potential customers that could drift off to other games and buy the microtransactions on those other games. So the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, the ridiculous microtransactions, the microtransactions on PSVR 2 are ridiculous. And Sony keeps all of that money. And so my belief is that any other racing game that could get PSVR support, PSVR 2 support, Sony could possibly deny that because it would be a threat to the microtransactions on GT7. So that is the reason why it probably would not get VR support. If you were to put a gun to my head and force me to make a prediction of whether F125 would or would not get PSVR 2 support, I would hate to say it, but I would lean towards saying 55% no and 45% yes. As far as would I like to see it, it would be 100% yes. I would love to see it get VR support. So I don't know. Maybe Sony will have a heart. You know, I think GT7 is starting to stagnate.
Jackson Kincardine said, "Mr. Clay, good sir. Good evening."
Mr. Kincardine, how are you? Just giving my 2 cents on the Easter egg that I saw of the possibility of PSVR 2 on F125. I'll go back and show you the quick clip real quick.
It's a great start for Hamilton.
Right there.
It's a great start for Hamilton.
Yeah, you see that quick look to the right? I know that's VR. You know, and said it before that, you know, the game has gotten VR support on PC for the past 3 years. So one would stand to reason that that could be a PC VR clip that we've seen. So yeah, I don't want to stay on that subject too long. Let's let this play out again, and then we'll get to the next Easter egg.
What a race this has been for Mayer.
Still we rise, guys.
The rookie showing the champ what he's made of here.
It is quick.
That was fun.
She's going for it. Oh no! Her race is over.
Remember, we don't beat Red Bull by copying them.
Focus on the bigger picture.
Into the pits they come.
Jackson Kincardine
And they come out with
said,
pit entry.
"I honestly don't know anyone who buys microtransaction in GT7 to be fair."
I think there's a lot of people who buy microtransactions in GT7. This is going to sound cringy. I've said it before so many times, and I mean it more now than I did the first time I ever said it. The first time I ever played the Drive Club demo on the original PSVR 1, it was a dream come true. Because as a kid, I always wanted to be a race car driver, and growing up, I was always fascinated with supercars. You know, my brother was more fascinated with supercars than I was because he knew the supercars a little bit better than I did. And when we were teenagers, his favorite car was the Lamborghini Countach or Countach, however it's pronounced. Whereas me, it was the Ferrari 308. And so I've never even sat in a supercar before. The closest I've ever come to sitting in an exotic car, and I've said this before, was when my cousin Floyd Mayweather came into town, and he brought some of his cars with him. And he had brought, because whenever he would come to town and he would bring some of his cars with him, he would have the cars put on a truck and have them sent here from Las Vegas all the way to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And one time he was in town and he brought a Rolls-Royce Phantom, and I sat in that car for a second. I think that was one of those Rolls-Royce Phantoms where you press the button and an umbrella slides out the door. I sat in that, and I think that's really the only time I've ever sat in a supercar or an exotic car. So went off the tracks a little bit. So you can imagine how I felt the first time I played Drive Club on the original PSVR 1. To sit in a Ferrari, that was already mind-blowing as it was. To sit in one of these supercars and then to actually drive it and do 200 miles an hour, it was the biggest rush I had ever felt in VR. And it was also one of the scariest because even if it was a video game, that was the first time I sat inside a car doing, 200 miles an hour. It was one of the coolest feelings I ever had, followed by one of the worst feelings I ever had because I got motion sick because I had never seen anything like that before. So if you've been following my channel for any length of time, that's what my channel is VR sim racing, racing cars in VR. And I can tell you right now that if Drive Club would have had microtransactions back then, they would have gotten a lot of my money because I would have been buying all kinds of cars so I can try them out in VR. I think that's why GT7 has ridiculous microtransactions. There are a lot of people out there that are experiencing what I did for the first time. For a lot of people on PSVR 2, GT7 is mind-blowing. They're sitting in Bugattis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all these supercars, that they probably only seen on TV. And they're actually sitting in these cars and actually driving them. So, with GT7 having a whole ton of cars on there, God knows how much money these people might be spending on microtransactions, buying all these exotic cars that they only dreamed of. So that being said, yes, I do think there are some people that probably spent well over $100 in microtransactions. Shit, I did it for R Factor 2, a couple of years ago. Went back and bought a bunch of tracks, bought a bunch of cars. And then you got the Legends cars on GT7, the Sauber Mercedes, the Mazda 787, 787B. I think the first Japanese car to ever win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The Nissan, Group C car, the Jaguar, all those legend cars, the Porsche 917, all those legend cars, along with a $4 million Bugatti, and then all these prototype cars that, these concept cars and stuff that's on there too. All these different cars you can drive on GT7 and VR has got to be mind blowing for a lot of these people, and I assume that they are spending money buying these cars because they don't do the races. They're probably not interested in doing the races, so therefore they're not going to grind
Jackson
for it.
Kincardine said, "You're playing mainly on PC though these days though, the people mainly in GT7 most of the time make plenty of in-game credits to purchase cars."
Those are the ones that's probably that caught on to that farming shit, that know how to do it. But I also think that for a lot of people, that GT7 is almost like a midnight club where people are like buying all these cars and they're screenshotting the cars and posting it on Twitter. At least they used to before they took that shit down, before Sony removed that ability or Twitter, banned it, whatever you want to call. But I do believe there's a lot of people on there that's doing some drive club type shit that are buying as many cars as they can.
Said, I haven't played GT in over a year and I still have 100 million in-game credits.
Well, I definitely wasn't going to grind because, for one thing, sometimes GT7 really got on my nerves with all the dirty driving. But for the most part, I was already, stuck on ACC, Automobilista 2, and now Le Mans Ultimate. But it still goes back to my point that I believe that there's a lot of people on PSVR 2 that their minds are totally blown to be sitting in these exotic cars for the first time in their life. And so, being that I went through it on the original one, I can only imagine how they feel. So let's get back to the next Easter egg. Right here, when Hamilton pulls into the pits. Look at this. He's coming into the pits.
And they come out the pit entry. Yes, guys. This is a game changer.
They flipped it. He came into the pits, the picture flipped, and he came out the other way, and they said he's coming out the pit entry, meaning that they have reverse tracks on here now. So
Jackson Kincardine said, I hate the way chat to voice talks over you. Face with tears of joy. Sorry, it's not intentional.
No, yeah, I get that. And so that's why, like, when I'm wearing a headset and I hear it, I stop talking so I can let the comment come out and then I'll respond to it. But if I'm not wearing a headset, then yeah, it talks over me because I'm not hearing it. But yeah, I get the frustration. So yeah, let's go back and watch that again.
This is
Bigger picture.
Okay, watch him come into the pits and they flip it.
into the pits.
You
they
see it?
come.
Wait.
Into the pits they
Red Bull by copying them.
Focus on the bigger picture.
Right there, he is entering the pits in the correct direction. Now watch once they change their tires, the screen is going to flip and he's going to come back out the way that he went in. So they're telling you that they're doing reverse tracks on here this year. I guess this is something that people have been clamoring for and been requesting for quite a while.
into the pits they come. And they come out the pit entry. Yes, guys. This is a game changer.
This is amazing.
I'm on it. Jackson's making a move on Piastri. Hamilton goes the other way. This is going to be so close. Side by side to the line. He's done it.
Let's go.
And Hamilton wins.
If you think you know how your story ends, think again.
Oh, and who's
Now, this right here, this is the third Easter egg. You see right there, F1 movie only in cinemas. So we know that the F1 movie starring Brad Pitt is coming out here pretty soon. What I'm wondering is this an Easter egg that tells you that you can choose this car in F125 if you can choose this team? This is a fictional team, but I'm wondering.
this?
Right there. Wait, right there. That, I don't know. That looks kind of video gamey to me. I'm not sure that looks like a real life picture. So yeah, there's a high probability this could be another team, a fictional team from the F1 movie that you can use in the game.
Oh, and who's this?
Pre-order F125 now.
And then they said, this is your story. Right here, this is your story. So what I'm taking from that is, I don't know. Maybe at the very least, you could maybe use that team in career mode.
Oh, and who's this?
Pre-order F125 now.
Hold on. So 3 days early, a collection of the 2025 season liveries for F124 time trial, and much more. F1 75 celebration pack, iconic Lewis. So as far as me, I'm actually going to be double dipping. Even if Sony ends up pissing me off, I'm going to double dip. Naturally, I'm going to buy this game on PC. But I'm also going to buy this game on PS5, regardless of whether it gets PSVR 2 support or not. The reason I'm going to be buying it on PS5 is because I'm going to be buying the physical edition because I want that case as a collector's item. Because, I mean, this is iconic. Lewis Hamilton, you know, and this is where EA is getting everybody. This right here, this cover art right here with Lewis Hamilton on the front, you can only get that on the iconic edition. The standard edition is going to have Carlos Sainz, let's see here, Oliver Bierman, and Oscar Piastri. It's going to have those three on the front. But the iconic edition is going to have Lewis Hamilton on the front. So yeah, so I'm going to double dip, and EA is going to stroke me for probably, I'm guessing $100, $110, $120. I am going to buy it, the physical copy of it. Once I get this physical copy, I don't know if I'll open it or not. I mean, because I might want to pop it in and see how the PS5 version looks compared to the PC. I mean, but the PC would have an unfair advantage because I'm running a 4090 and I can control the frame rate as well as the resolution and the graphics. But I still want to see it anyway. But more than anything, I just want that physical copy as a collector's item. So yes, I will be double dipping on this game. I think this will be the first time that I've double dipped. I mean, I did double dip back in 2022, but not in the way that you would think. I bought the PC version on Steam, but I also bought the PC version on the EA app, and I gave that copy away. I think I gave it away to celebrate the game getting VR. So that's what I got. So let's watch through this entire trailer one more time, and then I'm going to hop into F124 and just do a couple of practice laps because I'm in that mood. And then also today we had the F1 2025 Esports Championship and round 11, and boy, those were some exciting races. And Thomas Ronhar won the race at Qatar. And boy, were the people in the chat upset. I was like, at one point it had 27,000 people watching. So that tells you that the F1 games by EA and Codemasters, there's still a lot of interest in it. And so I do think that this year's copy will sell because of Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, and I'm hopeful that this is the year that it gets VR support. But anyway, coming back to that race, Thomas Ronhart won that race, and the people in the chat were pissed. I've seen all kinds of shit. L's, cheaters, calling him a cheater because a controversy with him about 3 years ago, these F1 championships used to be done from everybody racing from their home, but he was accused of having a grip pack, and Jarno Opmeer said something that pretty much implicated him. He didn't come right out and say it, but he said something that steered you in that direction, and I think that prompted EA and EA and the show sponsors to have them come in studio and do this championship in studio where nobody can cheat because it'll be a level playing field. but I get why they might be cheating, because I think they're all racing for $1 million. I don't know if the winner gets $1 million or if there's $1 million pool that's broken down, you know, and with the winner getting, you know, the biggest share of it. But $1 million prize might be enough to make you see if you can cheat and get away with it. I would never do it. I've never been that type of person. You know, I'm the type of person where somebody will walk past me and they'll drop a $100 bill on the ground. I'll pick it up and catch up to them and tap them on the shoulder and tell them, you dropped this. So my $1 million, but damn, I just don't think my conscience would allow me to do something like that. Okay, so let me get everything fired up here. And we will dive into F124. Oh, yeah, while I'm getting everything ready, let's go ahead and watch this trailer one last time.
My driving style, it's always been aggressive. I think it's gone from being all out, all risk. Now it's a marathon, not a sprint.
A new year, a new era, a new season. Welcome to the all-new F125.
Now there was a time.
It's a great start for Hamilton.
Awesome.
What a race this has been for Mayer.
Still we rise, guys.
The rookie showing the champ what he's made of here.
It is quick.
That was fun.
I can check.
She's going for it. Oh no! Her race is over.
Remember, we don't beat Red Bull by copying them.
Focus on the bigger picture.
Into the pits they come. And they come out the pit entry.
Yes, guys.
This is a game changer.
This is amazing.
I'm on it.
Jackson's making a move on Piastri. Hamilton goes the other way. This is going to be so close. Side by side to the line. He's done it.
Let's go.
And Hamilton wins.
If you think you know how your story ends, think again.
Oh, and who's this?
Pre-order F125 now.
Yes, sir. So let me so this is, you know, the EA page to give you more details, and this kind of a lot to read, and I'm not really, you know, I guess I could zip through it possibly. So take center stage in EA Sports F125, releasing worldwide on May 30th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. That right there is the other part that I forgot to mention to you guys, because this game this year is only going to be available on PC and current gen consoles. Excuse me. Not last gen consoles. So this game will not be available on PS4 or Xbox One. It's only going to be available on current gen consoles, PS5, Series X, Series S. That's another possibility of why I believe it could possibly get PSVR 2 support, because all this stuff is going to be crossplay. And I know for a fact that the Series X and the PS5 can run this game at 60 frames per second. And you know, it's been crossplay for the past couple of years anyway. And it does run at 60 frames per second. a minimum on PC and on these new gen consoles or current gen consoles. And I've seen some pretty good races. I've got my ass kicked by Xbox people and PlayStation people quite a few times. So now that you're eliminating the weaker hardware and you're still making it crossplay, that, in my opinion, I think that's another positive sign that it could get PSVR 2 support. Moving on, as Formula One celebrates its 75th anniversary, F125 reflects the real world sports biggest driver lineup. Let me start that over. F125 reflects the real world sports biggest driver lineup changing in years, featuring 6 rookie drivers and the landmark move of 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, who makes the unprecedented switch from Mercedes to Ferrari. As the F125 Iconic Edition cover star, fans of Lewis and Ferrari will be able to show their support with a number of in-game perks tied to that edition of the game. With new stars trying to make a name for themselves, established drivers challenging for podiums, and drivers aiming for you. That's the market shit. I'll skip past that. So this is the part that I wanted to get to right here. On track, F125 continues to innovate through the power of its Ego engine. So I guess this game is being developed with a new engine, because I think it had been developed with the Frostbite engine for the past few years, an engine that EA kind of been using across the board with the F1 games, I think with the Madden and the FIFA games, as well as the Battlefield games. So unlocking increased circuit authenticity made possible through lidar technology. Several tracks and their surroundings are transformed with a more realistic look and feel. Let's see here. F125 delivers more ways for drivers to experience Formula One and race their way from the drama of breaking point to making headlines in the pursuit of a world championship glory. This year, there are new opportunities for players to connect, collaborate, compete than ever before. We look forward to sharing more in the coming weeks. That's another thing that made me think that PSVR 2 is still a possibility, because going through here, pre-order now, yada, 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 yada. Nowhere in this detail, this page breaking down the details, not one mention of VR whatsoever, but yet I showed you guys in the trailer a clip that I believe to be VR. They haven't mentioned it on here. No mention of VR whatsoever. And after doing something like this for 3 years, they just can't get rid of that VR now. It's got to be there. So, in my opinion, why would you put that Easter egg in there, but not mention anything on this page right here that fills you in on the details? You can let us, they're telling us that it's coming to PC and current gen consoles, but doesn't mention anything about VR. So I think that might be something what they consider a surprise that they might be saving for their next reveal, because I guess they're going to give us some more information next month. So yeah, I think that's another positive sign that it could get PSVR 2 support. I could be reaching, but I mean, I've been able to find more. I've been able to find more possibilities pointing towards the game possibly getting a PSVR 2 support than not. So with them, so my point in bringing this up about this new engine, this Ego engine that they're using, maybe this engine would be able to run PSVR 2 more efficiently. So we'll have to see. All right, I'm going to switch over, and we'll dive into F1. Oops. You know what? I think I'm going to end up having to use the Oculus mirror. All right, so let's get switched up and turn this off. So I got to switch the settings around real quick, and I've got to turn on some air because it is hot. Okay, let's open up the Oculus mirror. All right, looks like the Oculus mirror is good to go. So let's open up Steam here. Launch it in Steam mode. Let's go. Shoot. There we go. VTID is playing Balatro. eSim Racing is playing F124. Alright, crap.
And recharge off. So no rain expected, at least for the next 30 minutes. 30.
All right.
Overtake available.
Let's get a couple of laps in. All right. Yeah, I like Silverstone, but I love these night races. So, do that one. And then let's add Las Vegas. Because both of those are night tracks that are absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's go. And naturally, we're going to go with Ferrari. And since this is F124 and Lewis Hamilton isn't at Ferrari yet on this game, we will use Charles Leclerc. And I forgot to change glasses too.
Good morning, good afternoon, or for us, good evening, as we're under the night lights of Jeddah. The floodlights are on and so is the pressure here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Let's go. So I am running this at about 3500p. I had it running at 3700p and I turned it down a little bit because of OBS. Also, I think I'm running it at high settings. I have maxed this thing out before. I have run it at like close to 4000p. And I've run it on ultra settings before, but because I want the extra overhead for OBS, I have turned things down a little bit. But it's still, you know, it runs it super buttery smooth. Unbelievably smooth. Let's go. Look at that beautiful picture.
Jackson Kincardine said, "Looks great."
Oh yes, it's gorgeous. Only one thing is stopping me from saying that this is the best looking game in VR, and I'll explain it after I do these couple of laps. Ooh. Really? That George? Or is that Lewis?
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
Oops. Vehicle condition.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Car in front.
It's Hamilton ahead. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 4.5 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Car ahead has some minor front wing damage, but it's currently maintaining its pace. Your last lap time, 1 minute 41.6.
Thank you. How does Hamilton say it? Lead me to it, please.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Ooh.
Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
Oof. Oof.
damage to your front wing, damage to your front wing. Suggest we box to change it.
Damn!
I'm afraid that's our race over. Black flag. We've been black flagged. Drive carefully back into the pits.
Oh, shit. I have to wait for this scene to play out before it'll let me exit out.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
A great display of dominance today, Crofty, by this driver.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the...
All right, we'll do a couple of laps at Las Vegas. I suck at this track. I just want to see how gorgeous the city looks. And then we'll wrap it up.
What an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Welcome to Las Vegas, and for Formula One, it's welcome back to Las Vegas. No longer do we race in the Caesars Palace car park. Tonight, the time is right to go racing in the street. 17 corners, 3 straights, 2 DRS zones, and the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas as we race around the 3.8 miles of Sin City. The strip has been taken over to become a straight tonight, commanding top speeds of around 212 miles an hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order.
All right. Look at that screen up there. Now, before I start this race, I was going to say the only thing that's stopping me from saying that this is the best looking game that I've ever seen in VR is the distance. I know they're doing it to conserve resources, but the distance looks soft. It is not razor sharp. The other games that I play, like Automobilista 2 and Le Mans Ultimate, even the distance is razor sharp. But this one, I mean, the reflections on this car, when I look at this Ferrari wheel, the picture is so sharp and so detailed, and even the crew standing around me, even though they got weird looking eyes, it still looks good. But again, the distance is not sharp. The distance, the picture, the distance looks soft, and it almost has a very slight blur to it, even though I'm running this game at like 3600p. But anyway, let's do a lap. Let's do it. I do not know this track. And I don't have the track map up either.
Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done.
Venetian. I've been inside the Venetian before. I mean, this is just gorgeous. There's Caesar's Palace. I've been inside of there before. I have not been inside the Hard Rock Cafe before. Just absolutely gorgeous. And that's the sign. And then there's the actual hotel over there. The Flamingo, I don't think I've been inside there before.
Blue flag.
Or the Cosmopolitan.
We're not racing the car behind. Let them pass when you can.
I have been inside. I have been in the Bellagio right there, because you know the movie Ocean's 11. Because of that movie, I went into the Bellagio before. I think I've been in Paris before. Look at this. This is just, it's gorgeous. Racing through the streets of Las Vegas, all these tall buildings lit up. Like, Vegas is just absolutely beautiful at night if you've never been there before. And I love these TV screens everywhere showing all the drivers. I definitely been inside the MGM. The MGM Grand, I've definitely been in there before. I think I've been inside this mall before. Where's the MGM? Nevada Hotel. Some of these just say Nevada or Las Vegas Hotel. My guess is they probably don't have the license to use this place. I think Hilton Grand Vacation.
Blue flag. Okay,
But
blue flag conditions, create a gap and let the car behind through.
in Vegas, though, casinos are being built and torn down all the time. There's like constant construction in Vegas. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, some new buildings and new casinos have been constructed since the last time I've been there, because it's probably been about like 8-9 years since the last time I've been to Vegas.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available. A lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button.
You see these screens all over the place showing my in-dash, you know, showing the inside of my car. See how I'm moving my head around? You see it up on the screen right there? Let me pull up a little bit more. And then another thing that that makes me want to say that this game has the best VR graphics, it looks, in racing in VR, this game feels the most alive, because when you look out in the crowd, every one of those...
Okay, mate, I'm afraid that's race over. The stewards have black flagged you.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say is, up in the crowd, every one of the NPCs are moving. In other games like Le Mans Ultimate and Automobilista 2, the NPCs are like 2D cutouts. Most of them are not moving. They're But here, the NPCs, every one of them are moving.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen,
So
he takes victory.
the game definitely, it feels alive,
And
and
that's
then
2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work.
And then this game has excellent presentation. The race makes you, when you're in a race, you feel like it's being broadcasted by Sky Sports. It's
been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action.
That it? Oh. Well, looks like it's not letting me advance. So I guess I'll go ahead and end it right there, because otherwise all I would be doing is shutting the game down and booting it right back up just so I can turn it off again. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down right there. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I hope, you know, if you are looking forward to F125, I hope that you are hopeful, like I am, that the game will get PSVR 2 support this year. I mean, we'll find out sooner or later. We'll find out. And I will say that if the game does end up getting VR support, definitely be on the lookout for my friend Ham VR, because I think he's in their creator program, so he does get early access to the game. And I think as far as YouTubers that are in EA's creator program who have early access to the game, I believe that he's the only one that I've seen to stream the game in VR. So as these creators get early access to the game, I'm pretty sure that he will get a key for early access. So if you want to see this game in VR, definitely tune in to my friend Ham. That's HAM VR, Ham VR. Make sure you check him out and be on the lookout for his video. So with that, I am going to boogie on out of here. I think I'm going to go play some more Behemoth. I've been getting into this game. I am determined to finish this game. Could take a month, but I am determined to finish this game. And let me see, it's Wednesday, so you'll see me back on Le Mans Ultimate. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to make a guess, it'd probably be Friday or Saturday morning. But whenever it is, look forward to seeing you all there. And we will talk to you then. Until the next time, you all know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king, and deuces. We'll see you, everybody. Have a good one.